auntie, they rape it auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm, and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. It come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on Saieed. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go in a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Thanks! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saieed. We do thank you, viewers, for joining us. Remember, share our live stream on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. On YouTube, it's TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you will know when we go live. So, Trinidad and Tobago, straight into the news tonight. There is no missing money. This was pointed out by Finance Minister Clongenberg, who accused opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar of making up stories in the impasse between Finance Ministry officials and the Auditors General in the 2023 public accounts matter. He did so in a statement responding to Persad-Bissessar's recent call for Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to launch an immediate independent investigation into Imbert's conduct regarding missing billions of taxpayers' dollars. So Trinidad and Tobago, in London, the Privy Council wanted to know why Mr. Imbert is not being investigated. Now, do you think the Finance Minister of Trinidad and Tobago should be investigated? According to Bissessar, calls followed a Privy Council judgment in the Auditors General favor. The government subsequently dropped its probe into the Auditors General conduct, detailing the process involved in submitting accounts to the Auditor General, which involves certification by 3 ministry officers. Imbert rebutted 2 of Persad-Bissessar's claims. He said the Finance Ministry therefore cannot be seriously accused by any right-thinking persons of being responsible for any missing money in the financial statement, especially since there is no missing money. The minister said these statements were not prepared by a finance minister and or accompanied by a statement of declaration and certification signed by 3 finance ministry officials, namely the accounting officer, who is the permanent secretary, the Controller of Accounts, and the Treasury Director. So Trinidad and Tobago, that is the latest what we have right now on those missing money. Now, what I don't understand, why do you carry the matter all the way to the Privy Council and now decides now to drop the matter? Because you all were pressing head on heels. You all were pressing the issue, and all of a sudden, you yourselves now, with the ministry, decides, you know what, we're not going to pursue it anymore. How come a sudden change? Why? Why? Nevertheless, that's their thing. You can never get the truth out of them, so say what? Prime Minister designates Stuart Young is promising tougher penalties for domestic violence offender and immediate action to protect women. Young said the issue of domestic violence must be tackled head on, not just through legislation, but as a national priority. I'm surprised of Young saying this. I'm very surprised. Whether or not the issue involves intimate partners, Young said it must be eradicated and will soon be asking the opposition for support to increase penalties and sentences for those committing those crimes and acts against our women. Listen to Stuart.
Here this morning to just give you a little bit of insight. You see, domestic violence, both with intimate partners and non-intimate partners, we are going to take on that scourge frontally. One of the things that I will be asking the opposition in Parliament at the appropriate time to do is for us to increase the penalties and the sentencing for those who commit those heinous acts on our women. Because I am a strong believer, and you know it happens at all levels of society. My head isn't buried in the sand. So I am a strong believer that we as a society must stand up and let the persons who are committing these acts against our women and children know we're not accepting it.
Georgia, I want you to understand something. I want you to understand something. Women will make reports in the station. They will take out that protection order. And when something's happen and they call the station, we never have vehicles. We never have vehicles. Some officers they say, "Oh, fix up with that now. See if you could better all yourself now. See if you could talk outside and settle before you reach the court now." I just want to throw that in your statement. Young also stated that he will enhance protection for women to obtain protection order. How is he going to do this? Well, let's hear what Sir John has to say.
Also, providing more protection when women take the step of getting protection orders and not letting it just be a piece of paper. That is also something I intend for us to focus heavily on. But the society needs to move with us. And this morning I'd like to introduce this seed into the minds of society, because the time has come. The time has come for us to take action now. And what are the things we can do as a society to make it known that this is unacceptable? But it doesn't stop there.
Now, viewers, he revealed that he would also seek to provide professional assistance to perpetrators. The minister noted that resources would be allocated effectively. Now, on whether or not she will support Young's initiative, Prasad Bisesa responded by saying, "Why didn't he do this the last 10 years? Is now he's saying that Dr. Saieed Ali didn't care about victims of domestic violence." Trinidad and Tobago is not easy. She added that Young was Minister of National Security, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, and the Attorney General Office, yet did nothing over 10 years in government to aid victims.
And then Stuart Young now wants to protect women. But you heard the speakers before me. Stuart gone and you see all these beautiful women in all these PNM Women's Day functions, and he wants to score points. He come there to do what? Score points. A hypocrite. He had 10 years to protect women. Did he protect the women of this nation? 10 years. 5,000 people have been murdered under their watch, Stuart and Rowley. 5,000 persons murdered. And remember, he was the Minister of National Security. Why did he not protect the women, the children, and the families? Those 5,000 families. Why?
So Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala said he owes the country an explanation as to why he did not implement this since 2015. Now, being the Minister of National Security, being the Attorney General for Trinidad and Tobago, being in the Office of the Prime Minister also, you could have done something more. You could have done something more. And this is what I always tell people, you know. It's only when you realize that you're coming out of office or your time almost expired, then you just want to do something for the country. Then you just want to do something for the males and the female and the business people and the old age people. That is the time. You just find all kind of thing to do. But while you're there, if you see me, you see me. If you hear me, you hear me. And that is it coming down the road. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, he said he wants to do something. I mean, Prasad Bisesa is right. Why you didn't do it 10 years back? A couple of years back, you could have did something when domestic violence was on a surge. You could have done something. But at the same time, you did nothing. You did nothing. So switching gears, viewers, Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has hit back at the opposition United National Congress and urges the population to turn their attention to opposition members who are bent on the downfall of the Dragon gas deal with Venezuela. First things first, let me start off. Trinidad and Tobago government wants to do business with a what? A sanctioned country. So they start bad right here. They start bad right here. Not no if and maybe, you started bad right there. Why do you want to do business with a country that was sanctioned under the United States? Let's start with. That's number one. Now, he asked persons to send telepathic power to overcome this negative nonsense about the failure of the Dragon gas deal. Listen to this.
So I'm asking the rest of you to send your telepathic power to overcome this negative nonsense about the failure of the Dragon deal. Because what we have been able to accomplish there, if I may say so myself, is a marvelous surprise to many people. Because our gas within our border is running out. What will happen to Point Lisas, where we now depend so much on the activity of Point Lisas for our major revenue stream? What happens when the gas runs out? And it wouldn't run out in 8 years, you know. It will be running out along the way until by the 8th year or the 9th year, it's gone.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I want you to understand that is the same individual who said we had money in Treasury to run Trinidad for 3 days. I want you to understand that. This is the same man who said we're not shutting down Petrotrin refinery. I want you to understand that. Keep that in the back of all your head. Keep that right here. Now, it is not Kamala Prasad Bisasa to say if we get in gas deal or not. It is for the Trump administration. The Trump administration. Because Trump wants to sanction every minister in Venezuela. Every minister. So it is not up to Kamala Prasad Bisasa. It is not up to Prime Minister. It is not up to the Minister of Energy. No, they can't say anything. They can't do anything. If the Trump administration decides to drop more sanctions on the Venezuelan government, that's it. That deal done. It's done. So do not throw blame. Now, what is in the making is that Trump wants to sanction government ministers of Trinidad and Tobago with their visas that deals with Venezuela. Yep. So every government ministers have visa to enter the US, and Trump decides to go hard on Maduro. These ministers' visas could be revoked. Trump said that. Trump said that. One thing I just do is follow up local and international news, you know. Rowley added that if you see TNT losing the OFAC license, as you will see in the news, if it happens, then you know you're a cuckoo cook. He said, if you see the Venezuelans not allowing us to use the Dragon field, then you know we are in difficulties. Let me tell you something. If the Biden administration was in power still, our gas deal would have been on stream. On stream. But the Biden administration not there. We have the Donald Trump administration. And Donald Trump is going to sanction and sanction and sanction. Some ministers may lose their visa to enter the United States. Because that is in the making. It's international news. So these ministers of Trinidad better be careful how they're dealing with the Trump administration presently. Hello, what news? That is news to all you. Dr. Rowley also cautioned about the fallout of the project, which required complex negotiation and continued facing hurdles and pushback. Listen.
If you see us losing that OFAC license, as you will see in the news if it happens, then you know you're cook. If you see the Venezuelans not allowing us to use the Dragon Field, then you know that we are in difficulty. And of course, what we have been able to do as well, where there are fields as they exist now, shared by Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago, and we have not been able to extract any gas there for 20 years because we have been pursuing the normal legal way of doing that through unitization, where both countries have to do it together or agree on how it has to be done. We have been able in a short time to get the Venezuelans to agree to allow us, Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago, to cancel that approach and to let Trinidad and Tobago go into the field and extract its portion. And that's what's happening right now with Shell moving exorably towards extracting gas from Manatee, which is the largest volume of gas that we would have had coming into our reserves for the longest while. So if you see in the news any of these things going south and sour, do not join other people and jump up to celebrate it. Because you know what's going to happen there? Our revenue stream, doesn't matter what else we do, but our revenue stream on the scale that is required to pay teachers, to pay nurses, to pay doctors, to build hospitals, to pay MPs, to pay who? The requirement for a revenue stream, if what we have done in the last 7 years was not done, let me ask you something. Where would Trinidad and Tobago be today?
So I want to ask Dr. Keith Rowley and the Minister of Energy, Stuart Young. Did Trinidad and Tobago go with you all to negotiate for the Dragon Field? Did Kamala Prasad Bisasa go with you all to negotiate for the Dragon Field exploration and gas, oil and gas? No, we didn't see that. We didn't see that. So how come you could blame now the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago if you do not get your license? If your license are taken back, who do you blame for that? The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? No, Dr. Rowley, you cannot blame Trump. Because he will come down right here and deal with all that differently. You can't. Because I believe it was Robinson Regis stood up in the parliament and said, what can Trump do to us? What can Trump do to us? Trump could ban Trinidad and Tobago citizens with visa from entering the country, their country. Trump could sanction ministers in Trinidad for dealing with a sanctioned country. Trump could sanction Venezuela. I believe all their licenses have been taken away already, oil and gas license. What can Trump do to Trinidad? Robinson Regis, you need to pay attention more to international news. International news. What can Trump do to us? Trump can stop every Trinbagonian citizen from entering into the United States. That is what he could do to us. And Trump now, in the making, wants to revoke visas for government ministers because of the fact that they want to deal with Venezuela. What can Donald Trump do to us? You see, some of them only have out in the parliament. Freedom of speech, they are protected in the parliament. Come outside the parliament and bump your gum now. Bump your gum outside the parliament. So viewers, added that citizens take too much for granted in their countries and is too accustomed with governments carrying their bills. What are we paying tax for? What are we paying 12.5% on everything for? I hear nobody. Listen to this.
This is the country where people have become accustomed to the government carrying their own bills through subsidies for water, electricity, medical care, education. So if you don't have a proper revenue stream, the sustenance of that. And for those who believe that you could go to the IMF and get money there, that's true. But you get the IMF money on conditions. And the first conditions laid down for you to get IMF money when you can't pay your bills is to remove the government support for the population that we call subsidies. Free education, free health in every hospital, MRI for free, CAT scan for free, nurses for free, doctor for free. Ladies and gentlemen, we take too much for granted in this country. That is why we could have people in this country wanting to celebrate the failure of the Dragon deal.
You know, sometimes I love to listen to Dr. Rowley, you know. How much government ministries haven't paid their electricity bill? How much government ministries haven't paid their water bill? And then we go start from there. How much HDC houses that have been built and put down in Trinidad for the concrete to rotten? And individuals can't get it. Why? If individuals get the houses, okay, good. You use taxpayers' money to build houses, to put down and rotten. That's number one. Number two, if citizens of Trinidad and Tobago get the HDC houses, they will be able to pay for the houses, which the revenue will go back to where the tax collecting money came from. Am I right, Dr. Rowley? I'm correct. So what about now, if the government ministries now pay TNTech and pay WASA? Don't you think that TNTech would not have the cause to go to RIC to raise the electricity bill? Same thing with WASA. But all they were always blaming the damn citizen. The citizen, the citizen, the citizen. It's stinking sad. It's stinking sad that every time a minister go up, you blame the damn citizen. 10 years down the road, you're still blaming UNC. My God, in this living world, what the hell did you do to benefit the citizens? What the hell did you do to better the citizens? X amount of money going on fixing road. Who's the project manager? Who's the one that's supposed to oversee the road to make sure we get proper roads? Money wasted. Let's say something. Call a good night. Hello?
Last night I wasn't hearing you on my phone, so that's when I cut off. But I know you raised a good topic there. But anyway, what Rowley should do is tell the citizens of this country where he get money from to pay his supporters, his diehard PNM supporters, throwing over 15,000 of them he hired, right? Tell the citizens of this country where you get money to pay all of them. That's what you're supposed to do. You close down a refinery that was making money because Patrick Manning said that he called Petrotrin Petrosing, meaning that too much Indians in Petrotrin. So you tell the citizens of this country how many people out of the over 15,000 you hired, how many people in that amount to show a reflection of the national anthem, every creed and race find equal place. Then come to talk to the citizens of the country. The citizens of this country want you to pack your bag, call the election and ride out. We fed up by you and the PNM. Let us do something to make this country a better place. And Mr. Saeed, I understand what you talked about last night. And that fella, PC, Suklal and the corporal, them fellas are qualified to even shine your shoes. You know what I tell you? Look at what you are doing for this country and this nation. And you raise a very important topic there about the laws of life. You talk about diabetes. And I can tell you right now of 3 police officers, one of them even reached retirement age as yet. He belly like if he making a sheep or something. And if it's your foot swell up, you know what he used to do? And I know that he used to go take a ticket book. And unless that ticket book is finished, he going back in the station, people's sorrows and tears fall on he. And Mr. Said, you will see a way. And PC Suklal, he take leave and he run, that wouldn't help him. And I want them to know, as you talk about the laws of life, that's what you mentioned to them last night. They understand the laws of life. When you commit sin, it's coming back to look for you and generation of yours, your children and so on. So these police officers, Mr. Said, you have to do them nothing. I know if you light a candle, that PC Suklal and Dr. Kwale going back in the service. They will be gone like candles in the wind. But anyway, those fellas will pay for the wrongdoings. And police officers, all you wake up license officers, wake up custom officers, all you wake up is citizen paying all you. Don't let the tears and sorrows fall on you all. Mr. Said, you are a great soul, you are a great human being. Keep up the great job you are doing, and Ramadan Mubarak to you and your staff. God bless.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, as he raised the topic, I just remembered. What I can tell people about Saieed is that when you start to do good, and people from all walks of life, and people from all positions in the land, just understand what you're for. They just see you different. They just look at you different. They just treat you different. They just put you in a different class. Now, I live in Shogunas. The world knows Saieed living in Shogunas. About 8 years now we live on television. And everybody know I live in 14 Caroni Savannah Road in Shogunas. Me and seniors in the station good. Me and seniors throughout Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we good. In all the protective arms of Trinidad and Tobago, all the seniors recognize Saieed. So let me give you a little thing about the ticket. I tell you, watchman, I just come to you in the right time, you know. After PC Suklal issued that ticket for me, knowing what I do, and I highlighted on national television, a senior called me. When they look into it, Navin, you know, 3 days after Suklal got on sick leave, on vacation, 3 days after, you know. Watch me, it have senior side. How you could get a stupid ticket like this? Who is that policeman? When I send them the info and they pull it up, oh God, it's a borough police, municipal. The next one is a acting. I even know 2-lane heading north, but yet they want to give me a ticket for illegally overtaking on the left. How you could illegally overtake on the left when 2-lane heading north? How you could do that? On top of that, I get 3 demerit point. Let me tell you something. That is an innocent $1,000 I got. And 3 demerit point. I went and I paid my $1,000. And I said, Lord, this is $1,000 I could have buy grocery for somebody's house. But a stink wicked officer decided to do me this. A man on TV going to do that? A man who does do spirit work, you do that? As the light lighten, I will do what I have to do spiritually. He coming back out to work Saturday, coming. I'm well informed. It's seniors that is deal with. It's seniors that is deal with. And on top of that now, you know when I bought this story last, I went municipal and borough. You know right now they're looking for some trolleys in Shogunas police. They're looking for some trolleys missing. Where get that info? Side connected and people understand, officers understand what I am about. I'm a no nonsense man. So I want to ask now, within the borough of Shogunas, the municipal police and Shogunas police station, do we have bandits as police officers? That is what I want to ask all you tonight. A senior called me, he said, Saieed, he said, you know, last night I watched your show. You know when you bust that day? Went and do a little check. He said, Saieed, you know trolley's missing? So do we have bandits in these municipal or the borough or Shogona station? Do we have bandits in police uniform? Come wrong me. Come wrong me. And by the power that God invests in me, I will show you what I will do. Come wrong me. On national television, I say it, on a live program. You don't do an innocent man stinkness. But tell you something, I could be stink, you know. In spirit work I do, I born gifted, you know. When I come after my son, there's 3 blind, 1 dead, you know, spirit work, you know. Want to play stink? Or I choose the wrong man to play stink with. Just remember, there's a saying the old folks used to say, what goes around comes around. Remember that. Well, good night.
Yeah, Mr. Saeed, good night, bhai. Here is now Mr. Saeed, bhai. Good night to your show and to all your listeners. Mr. Saeed, here we have Mr. Stuart Young on a podium saying that he going and bring more stiffer penalties for domestic violence against women. This man living back in time, sir. This is domestic violence against man in Trinidad, not woman. Woman are going through domestic violence in Trinidad. Man, there are more men than women that going through violence.
The woman beating the man now.
Who to protect the men?
Correct.
Why it is you not doing nothing to protect the men? For example, a man in South married have a married wife. His wife holding him with a policeman. The wife and husband fall out. The policeman kidnap the man, beat up the man, and take the man's wife and go on with it. What's that? What telling we about? What them telling we about? Them feeling good fool we is domestic violence against man in Trinidad, not against woman. But them giving in to women because them like that. Them like that. Them giving in to women. But the amount of men in this country that going through domestic violence from women.
Yeah.
From women. Right? That's a serious thing, Mr. Saeed. And that man so stupid in this day and time to tell me about domestic violence against women. That is a serious thing. And one more issue, sir. We have a prime minister that there for 9 years. And the amount of lies I hear this man talk on the national media, I am ashamed. I am ashamed how this man could go all over the world and represent we and lie right here in our media. They're saying one thing last week, and this week they're saying the next thing. They said they was never going to close down Petrochid, they close it down. They never even think about putting it back up. Because them ain't lost in nothing, Mr. Saeed. That is money for the citizens of this country. All them is doing is sticking needles in the citizens of this country. That's all them doing. They taking away all our finances that could make life better for we. A thing like Petrotrain, you close down for so long and you can't get it back up running. Then all they're making no sense.
Thank you, my friend.
All they're making no sense.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, staying with Dr. Rowley. Since 2023, under the then Joe Biden administration, a license was granted to the National Gas Company to plan and develop gas project with Venezuela. Government has been seeking the extension of one of the authorization so that the project can deliver its first gas around 2027. However, U.S. President Donald Trump last month announced the reversal of such what? Authorization. But Dr. Rowley wants to blame the citizen. Listen to this.
To get the Venezuelan government to agree to have Trinidad and Tobago have a license to extract gas in a unproven Venezuelan gas field is something that this country should acknowledge and celebrate. And of course, we got that during a time when the geopolitics is such that the United States and other countries, which shall remain nameless, are setting new parameters and new terms of trade. And sanctions by one country against another country could have the effect of destroying our economy. We're not involved in it. But it could destroy everything that we represent and that we hope for. And it takes a lot of good leadership to navigate between these grinding gears, to come away in an era of sanctions by the United States against Venezuela with an OFAC license from the Office of Foreign Asset Control, where Trinidad and Tobago has, in fact, the license to operate without the sanctions. And we simply have to have a commitment and to earn the respect of those we do business with to ensure that we move from talk to walking the outcome, because the future of our country depends on it.
So viewers, we are going for a short commercial. But when we come back, we're going to hear Trump rejects Cuba policy as TNT will defend its right to hire doctors after this.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Realtalk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Realtalk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Realtalk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Realtalk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over, with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
At Realtalk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Remember, viewers, this is the month of Ramadan. For the Muslim brothers and sisters, may Allah give you the strength to go through your fast. Also, those of you who need hampers, you can call in the office 238-6716. Give them your name. Also, viewers, remember Real Talk Financing. We are licensed money lenders. You're looking for cash borrow, it's not a problem. You just need to have some sort of collateral for the business to hold, and you will be able to access cash within 24 to 36 hours. Also, Real Talk Financing is offering 5% on fixed deposit, viewers. Remember that, with an upfront interest. We are the only licensed financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is offering you 5% on interest with your interest up front. That's right, viewers, interest up front. So, viewers, you know, I love to explain. I love to break down figures for you all. Now, 5% on $100,000 for 5 years, it's $25,000 at the end of 5 years. Now, you could invest less than $100,000 or more than $100,000. The thing is, you're getting your interest up front. Now, when you invest $100,000 for 5 years on a fixed deposit, it's $25,000, right, for 5 years. You don't have to wait for the end of 5 years or 10 years, you know. We're giving you the interest up front. Up front, you're getting your interest. So you could do a lot of things with the interest that you're getting up front. You don't have to wonder if you're going to live. You don't have to wonder if you will get sick. You don't have to wonder if and if and if. No, once you make that investment with Real Talk Financing, interest up front and enjoy the labor of what? No, I'm saying it wrong. I'm not even correct. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. That's all. Enjoy the fruit of your labor while your investment safe. That's all. Remember that, viewers. Those of you having spiritual problem, remember I'm a spiritual consultant. I do spiritual work. 339-1670 or 238-6716, viewers. Also, numbers for our business place, viewers, will be up on screen in oh, that was quick. You catch me, the director. Viewers, you want to go to the South Credit Union? You can call them, set up an appointment. You want to come to the Central Credit Union? It's not a problem. You want to contact the loan centers? Not a problem. Numbers are on screen. Call them. We open from 8:30 to 4:30. Viewers, set up an appointment. Come to our office and let's do business. So as we start back our program, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has come out in defense of Trinidad and Tobago to regain following the recent threat of U.S. visa restriction announced by President Donald Trump administration against government utilizing Cuba overseas medical missions. What did Camille Robinson Reggie said? What can Donald Trump do us? I believe Robinson Regis should think again. I believe she should go back to the parliament and revoke that statement. Eat your words. We are 1.4 million people. And we have 41 PNM MPs. And they still cannot govern Trinidad and Tobago properly. There's about 35 million people in the United States. And Donald Trump is a single individual who is standing very firm. And if he said that wall is painted in black, that wall is painted in black. And countries will back him up. Because why? He will explain why the wall painted in black. And he will explain the benefits of the wall painted in black. We have ministers who will go in parliament and brag them out and put reality into what their mouth saying. No, they can't do that. They cannot do that. But that is the difference. Now, listen to this. Dr. Rowley said, he said he was willing to surrender further tips to the U.S. in an effort to ensure Trinidad and Tobago's position is not taken lightly. He stated that there are local people here encouraging them to take away our U.S. visa. Who encouraging them? Nobody. Donald Trump make a statement and he stand firm with it. What Camille said, what can Donald Trump do to us? That is what he can do to us. Let's listen to this video.
Telling us something else. We rely a lot for our healthcare delivery on certain specialists who over the decades we have obtained from India, from the Philippines, sometimes from Africa, and mainly from Cuba. Out of the blue now we are being called human traffickers because we hire technical people who we pay top dollar equal to local rates, but we are now being accused of taking part in the program where people are being exploited. That's somebody's interpretation. And of course, there are local people here encouraging them to take away our US visas. Today, I just came back from California. And if I never there again in my life, I will ensure that the sovereignty of Trinidad and Tobago is known to its people and respected by all.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I believe it's on the 15th or the 16th. Our Prime Minister will have his last day in politics. Yeah. Is either from between Saturday and Sunday will be his last in politics, and that is it. So what he going to suffragane what? Huh? You are 1.4 million people, cannot run us properly, but you want to go and tell the Donald Trump, who is dropping sanctions on the US and dropping sanctions all parts of the world, you want to tell him about we visa? And on top of that, you say now, somebody pushing for we to lose we visa. No, nobody are pushing for we to lose we visa. Donald Trump said so. Why? Because we want to do business with sanctioned countries. What you expect? You expect honey in a glass come towards you? No, it will not happen like that. You all should have known better not to do business with a sanctioned country. You should have known better. Keep in mind, when we were under curfew, when we were under COVID, who came in? When the runway was shut, and we couldn't be outside after 6 months, unless we have a pass. Who entered Trinidad and Tobago from PDVSA in Venezuela? Oh, let's say something. Say something! Nobody I know who come in the plane touching Trinidad and Tobago, but a plane got a clearance to land. So what about if the plane had a set a bomb in it now? What happened? What about if it was a suicidal pilot? Just decided to say, you know what? We're going down to Trinidad. If that had happened, what would I do? You see, I'll tell you something. Ministers takes we for clowns and fools. We are chicken without heads. They allow a plane to land in Trinidad and ain't know who come in the plane? Really? You see, if a person deaf, you could tell them the truth. You know why? They may even understand what you say. Yeah? When a person blind, you could tell him there's a castle in front of him and he would say, okay. You know why? Because he cannot see if you're lying or you're telling the truth. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar has challenged Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to reveal the name of those allegedly encouraging the United States to revoke visa and impose sanctions on Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, let's listen to this.
He's now talking about visa restrictions and sanctions. As I say, this is a man had Maduro with him and Stewart in this conga line. I think that is the worst bend over we have ever seen in history. Rowley and Maduro is the worst bend over we have ever seen in history. Worst ever. Worst bend over. And then he says, you know what? Talks about these visa restrictions. He said there are people here, encouraging the U.S. to take away all your visas. Rowley, where is the evidence? Who are these unnamed people encouraging people to take away visas? Who are these people? Where is the evidence? This is another distraction by Rowley, because you see, everybody warned them. Everybody warned Rowley and crew. And now they're crying about sanctions and visa restrictions. Rowley and Stuart Young know the US government is coming for them and for PNM affiliates. They know it. They know it.
Now Trinidad and Tobago. She asked Rowley, who are the unnamed? Kamala also criticized Energy Minister Stuart Young, highlighting his frequent 13 trips to Venezuela, saying that both Young and Rowley are the sole cause of any sanctions to Trinidad and Tobago.
Stuart Young went to Venezuela. Not once, not twice, 13 times. Stuart Young going, I tell you, worst bend over in history. 13 times they went to Cocteau, to Maduro in Venezuela. He and Rowley are the sole causes of any US sanctions on Trinidad and Tobago. Get that right? They are the ones for any US sanctions on our country.
So now, viewers, she also noted that Rowley stated that his legacy was healthcare and education, yet both has failed under the PNM. Listen to Kamala one more time.
So, he boasted that he had two main priorities, Mr. Rowley. One, guess what? Healthcare. Healthcare. The worst it has ever been in our history. From a man who is such a hypocrite, Rowley, that every time he sneezes, he jumps on a plane and flies off to the US for healthcare, but says he has the best healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago. You hear lie? You hear lie? You hear lie? That is lie. Then he sent his second legacy is in education. But look at the violence in our schools. Look at how many schools that were almost completed that they have failed to now complete. Look at the state of bullying in our schools. They have understaffed the schools. They have sabotaged your educational opportunities. So Rowley, don't pretend that your best legacy is in healthcare, which is in shambles, and our education sector, which is also in shambles. It will take a UNC government to restore a working healthcare system and to bring back an education system for the benefit of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, the other thing said, Prime Minister. The other thing said, the Prime Minister had challenged his ministers to embed technology in everything they did, particularly in the healthcare system. I'll listen to this.
We advocated for and supported this project. One of the first things the Prime Minister did, Honorable Prime Minister, was to create something called a Ministry of Digital Transformation. And he challenged the country and his ministers to embrace technology and to move towards a system where technology is embedded in everything that we do. Part of what we are doing in health is what we call an organizational renewal and modernization strategy, targeting infrastructure. But when we say infrastructure, we don't mean physical infrastructure, concrete and glass. We mean health infrastructure, embedding that in our processes, inclusive of artificial intelligence, and moving from what we call a paper heavy to a paper light to a paperless system.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, we have problems in every department of Trinidad and Tobago you could think about. Fire station, police, health, teachers, you name it, there's problem. You name it, there's problem. But nevertheless, Saieed, I'm here to highlight all these issues night after night as we go live Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. on Synergy. Viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, until we meet again, good night.